money off him. And he says, right, you say Allahu 622 times, followed by Al-Quddus 230 times, followed by Al-Wadud, 200, and then make the durood, which is the salah and salam upon Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 623 times, and you'll get the woman of your dreams. Right? So he spends a few weeks doing this, and he has to do it for about 3 months. Right? And then he comes back and he says, I didn't get the woman of my dreams. He said, yep, because there's another formula, because you have a particular problem. So give me £68 and, by bank transfer, and I'll sort you out with another. And this is what they do. Or they'll attach something to your arm, or put something into a piece of cloth and wrap it up and put it around your neck. All of this is bid'ah. Yet, look how many millions of people around the world that they fall for it. You go to almost every Muslim country, forget the Muslim countries, even in Britain. Every major street where Muslims live in a community, you'll find a peer or a faqir or someone who is selling, these kind of like formulas and these ta'weedh or these amulets or these numbers that you can read or put them on your door. And if you put them on your door and they're written, in Arabic, and there's Ayatul Kursi underneath, and then some words that are written, in kind of like these grid formula, put it on your door and no evil will come into your house. So you can watch your Netflix in peace. And this is what they do, because they just want to leave it to somebody else. Just, delegate the protection of the house to that piece of paper that is upon your door. And you can listen to your music and watch your Bollywood and Hollywood and, your movies and, have, all types. Women leave the house, upon tabarruj, upon nakedness and not dressed properly and so on. But it doesn't matter, because the Pir Sahib has written his formula in grid format, and you've got it on top of your door. Or or your sheikh at the local masjid of a particular Sufi brand of Islam, whether it be a Naqshbandi or a Sahawardi or a Tijani, that he's renowned because he's got some sort of secrets that go all the way back to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Not through a chain of narration that we know of, but rather through some, through some kashf, through some enlightenment that he receives, which his sheikh received and passed on to him, but no one knows. But he'll tell you his silsila, and it's not written, it's not hadith, it's nothing, it's just information and knowledge that is passed on, and inspiration that is passed on up until his time. So all the people gather around him, and he's very rich, of course, because people tend to be, very superstitious when it comes to things like marriage and divorce. And, my husband used to love me, doesn't love me anymore. Well, someone's done magic upon you. Don't worry, I'll write you something. It's only £600. And people do that, and they do it all the time. And it is not something, okay, if you live in a Salafi community, and all your community or your friends or your social circle are Salafis, and this is how you've been raised, and this is all that you've known, maybe what I'm saying is something that is ghareeb to you. Well, does that really happen? Actually, it is extremely common to go to a particular sheikh in a particular mosque, and he will write down these formulas for you or give you these formulas. You can even find them online. People give them out free of charge. They say, just print this off, frame it, and just put it on the wall, and your house will be protected. You got evil eye over your children, no problem. Take this grid formula, and there's numbers in there, and there's verses in there, and they are like the beginnings of the surah that have the letters like Alif Lam Mim, and they're written in there, Yasin, with numbers and grid formula. Put that up over the baby's cot, and your baby will be safe. You can download them. They're available. Not that you should do them, but I'm just telling you, it's out there. You can buy them. There's people selling, for example, the sweat of the sheikh that died the other day. Someone dies, they say, oh, before he died, we managed to collect some of his sweat. Oh, before he died, we managed to collect some of his spittle. Oh, before he died, some of them say we collected his urine. And they'll sell it on eBay. Right? If you want to do a quick research online, you'll find it. Sheikh Nazim's sweat. Sheikh Nazim's spittle, his spit, his saliva is for sale, bottled for you. That's what the Christians used to do in the Middle Ages. You know how many pieces of the cross there are in the world? You know, they claim that, the cross that apparently they claim that Isa ibn Maryam, or Jesus, the son of Mary, died upon. If you were to gather all the claims of the original cross, it will run into tens, if not hundreds of tons of wood. Everyone claims to have a piece of the cloth that he was shrouded in, or that they have a piece of the cross that he died upon. And it was a business that they touted, and it is touted till this day. There are monasteries around the world, across Europe, that claim to have a piece of the original cross, till this day. And there are people who claim with the Prophet ﷺ that they have his cloth, his shroud. There are people who claim that they have his staff, his slipper. And these green symbols that you see in people's windows, which is another bid'ah. When Eid Milad Nabi or the Mawlid comes about every year for these people, and all of a sudden you see these like funny symbols in people's windows flashing green. You know what it is, right? Anyone know? That's his slipper. They say that is a symbolic representation of the slipper of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That kind of like, I don't know, it looks like almost like an hourglass kind of shape. And it's green. And you're driving around Muslim areas across Birmingham or London, West, East, Bradford, Manchester, and you keep seeing these green things flashing in people's houses. And what is it? They're celebrating the Mawlid of the Prophet ﷺ, which is represented by a symbol of his slipper. I mean, there's no end to the kind of madness and the insanity that people will indulge in practicing bid'ah. And then when you say to them, it is haram, they say, no, it is bid'ah hasana. It is a good bid'ah. So you say, but the Prophet ﷺ never spoke about a good bid'ah. He said, all bid'ah is dalala. And every dalala is misguidance, and every misguidance is in the hellfire. He didn't make any exceptions. So how can it be a good bid'ah? No, it is a good bid'ah, ya akhi. It's a good bid'ah. And they'll do it. And imagine how many millions and millions of Muslims are out there who are deceived into thinking that this is something that is allowable and permissible. So, moving back to...